Alright guys, so the first NHL 18 patch is here. Now they did look like they tuned up a lot of stuff, and I'm hearing some mixed results. So I wanted to take a look at it, kind of discuss with you guys what I think it means and what it could mean for the game, and then of course we'll have to see how it plays out. Now, I've looked over it all, I haven't tested all of it out, so much of this will be me theorizing, etc., but I do want to make a video about this. First up on the table, they've added the option for Champions League aggregate scoring and improved face-off formations during 3-on-3 play, which is pretty big for this year, as they have NHL 3s, ESHL 3v3, and this also is hinting at, which is confirmed later, the ability to change your 3v3 strategies as well across all game modes during live play, which is a big thing that I know a lot of people were missing out. Now this next one was a source of a bit of rage for me during the NHL 18 beta, but they're stopping players from being able to move during the transition period. Like, when you scored a goal sometimes in threes, and then like when you transitioned and it went back to the camera of you starting with the puck or the other guy starting with the puck, someone could be right in your face about to hit you because their camera stopped earlier than that. So that fix is going to be big, especially as they're making threes competitive. And also, like I said a bit earlier, you can change all the strategies now during threes gameplay, which I don't believe you could do in the beta. At least I never tested it too well. I don't usually play full team stuff, so I don't use the strategies. And of course, they tuned up some of the face-off timings. Just those are the little things that EA tries to do to make the game perform more consistently, I should say. Puck physics, or as I say, EA says physics schmizics. Well, maybe no longer. Now, this could be a big one. Although it is the smallest section, this is big. Improved stick-on-puck collision physics. Now, I'll have to do a lot of testing on this, because you guys know I love that defensive skill stick, especially in ESHL. It can do wonders, but there are some times when it's a little wonky, you know, hit the puck and it flies a little too far and things like that. So I'm more going to keep an open mind about this. The poke checks and the defensive skill stick are going to be changed a little bit. I know some people were complaining. Now, I hope it's not a complete overhaul nerf, which would, I think, really, again, kind of set us back into that NHL 17 thing where it's really hard to defend against a lot of types of plays. But, like I said, I'm going to keep an open mind, going to do my own testing on it, and then you'll probably hear about me bitching about it because I like things to bitch about anyway, but we're going to hope that it gets tuned out throughout the year and then we find a nice happy medium that will, well, you can't make everyone happy, but hopefully will make everyone at least content. Now this section's got me real excited. The AI, I've had some problems with it so far, but here we go. Improved AI puck carries in 1-on-0 situations during play and in shootouts. That's the big one, the shootouts. We'll have to see how much this is tuned. I'm going to be very skeptical about this because shootouts are so bad. And this is also big. Updates to defensive AI decision making so that they stay with their check more consistently. Watch the Be a Pro sniper thing, even a little bit of the Be a Pro grinder. People keep leaving their man, and it throws me off. Oh man, that's been the source of a lot of rage. So we'll see, again, a bit skeptical, but we'll see how much it improves, because that was a big thing. Your computers would just leave you seemingly for no reason in the defensive end, and a lot of goals would happen. So we'll have to see how good that becomes now. Here's another one. Updates for AI teammates that would skate into shooting lanes instead of standing in better positions to deflect the shot or get the rebound instead. Yes, just better overall in the offensive zone. This is an AI overhaul that is really cool for them to be tackling, especially this early. It's kind of like, yeah, at the same time, they could have fixed this in NHL 17, but, you know, it's being hopefully fixed. It's being looked at now, which is a really good start, and this should affect everything. So be a pro. We're not being left in the dust anymore. An update to AI logic during shootouts or during penalty shots. Again, another big one about the shootouts. They're terrible. So perhaps they're going to be a bit better now, and shootouts won't always go 10 rounds with only one goal being scored. Great news for us, guys. Great news for us. Yet another big one that I've been complaining about for years is logic updates for AI goalie pull situations. Now, how it's always been, if they're down by 2 goals, they'll pull the goalie around 1 minute. If they're down by 1 goal, they'll pull the goalie around 30 seconds. Now, 30 seconds is not long enough at all. Now, this could also mean that AI logic changes with the players on the ice as well, not just to pull the goalie, but how they how they react to a goalie pull situation, which again is pretty big. If you're have the goalie pulled and you see your teammates just skating backwards, giving the opponent the zone when you have a net empty, that's the most frustrating thing ever. So we're hoping the defensive and the offensive AI is also tuned for that, so that, offense is a bit more aggressive, trying to keep that puck in. Defense, maybe they just want to chip it out instead of trying to skate it down and take a shot on the net. Again, I'll have to test it out, but this is giving me hope. Next is improved shot logic for the AI. Again, just more AI updates. Yes, just more, everything. Overhaul it, and that's what it looks like they're attempting to do. So AI will take some better shots, and that's good because sometimes they come from like the side of the net, just take a shot, which in some situations is not a bad idea. But when you're open in the slot or there's better options or they could work it around, you do kind of get frustrated. And with the call for pass sometimes not even working this year, and a lot of people refusing to use it, including myself, because it's kind of it can hit or miss, so it's just safer to let the computers do their thing. And now, if the computers are going to make better choices, I'll be way happier to let them do their thing. And yet again, another good AI idea. Improved positioning for offensive AI players away from the puck. Big, so that they take their stick position handedness into account and position themselves to adjust their facing based on their intention. A lot of big words in there, miss. We're not but humble pirates. But seriously, let's break down not only what this means for right now, but what it also could mean for the future. AI players taking into account where the puck is on the ice. Now that's been a little thing that has a huge impact. Sometimes it feels like the AI players don't really understand where the puck is. They kind of know where the puck carrier is, sometimes not so much where the puck itself is and what they should do about it. I'm just trying to imagine the possibilities here and trying not to get too excited, but my goodness, this could be huge, and this should improve one of my favorite parts of hockey, the forecheck, the offensive zone pressure. Again, have to test it, but my goodness, it's looking bright. The future is now. Now this next one has one of my favorite words in it that I want to see AI improvements to: breakouts. So they added improvements for AI skaters that would switch to skating backwards during the breakout. Now, that may not have to do with the decision making of the lead passer, but if they could get themselves in better positions to receive a pass, perhaps in the aggregate, it will improve the breakout. So keep an open mind, but perhaps the breakout's going to be better for you and not just for the team you're playing against. Alright, so now we're tackling the coaching feedback and the on-ice trainer. So they added new videos in training to Hockey Canada training camp. I guess that's a training camp if you're noob at this game, but since I'm so pro, I've never used that, but I'm sure some of you out there suck. So, yay for you. Just kidding. And there's also support added for button deeks in coaching feedback and the training camp. I'm not too sure what that means. Added for button deeks, like showing you the buttons of deeks if they want you to do a certain deek or something like that. I'll have to launch into Be a Pro and actually check that out. But little things, man. EA's tackling the little things. Alright, and here's some changing to the offensive side of your skater. They've added the ability to blend back into skating faster out of deking, which is pretty good. Some of the deeks completely kill your speed, so this could be huge for that. They've also got various shot animation improvements. Again, a little thing, but it may not help performance as much, but it helps give you that more realistic feel. When you see something like that looks completely weird, sometimes it kind of kills the vibe a little bit. They've also added improvements to skaters that were missing the puck too often if they were directed to perform a shot without picking up the puck the first time, like one-timers and the shots from loose pucks. That's great because that animation would kill a forecheck. I've seen it plenty of times. So when fans on a one-timer, they move halfway down the offensive zone still in that shot animation. So we'll see how big these improvements are. But if, again, makes it more realistic, makes it feel like a hockey simulation, praise be, son. Ooh-wee, there's looking like a lot of updates for defensive play, which could be good or bad. So the first one, updates to improve animation, blend issues out of shot blocks. I haven't noticed too much of an issue with that. Sometimes the shot blocks can last a bit, but again, if it improves realism, it improves the game. Also, improvements added for players during a board pinch when the puck position didn't make sense for it. Okay, I'm hoping that means someone can't board pin you from behind anymore, because that's happened a few times and that will make me rage. There's also blending improvements when transitioning into defensive skill stick. That's good. I have felt that's a bit weird sometimes too. Like sometimes your guy doesn't do it at all, and sometimes he does it too quickly, or does it when you don't want him to. Anyway, it sometimes just feels a bit weird. So they're not just nerfing the skill stick, they are improving it at the same time. And as I was just talking about, the update to improve an issue with their defensive skill stick caused user skaters to lose pickup functionality. Just what I was talking about. Along the boards, if you like poke at someone, or if you are holding the sauce button and you lose that puck somehow with EA's amazing puck control, then all of a sudden your guy goes into the loose, the defensive skill stick. Hopefully that's fixed now. More big words in this next one. Added invariance of error to the new poke check system based on player control, direction from the player's facing, and relative speed of the puck. And they actually break it down, which I don't have to, which saves me a lot of time. This means that a player is most accurate when skating in a controlled manner and poking a still puck in front of themselves, and least accurate when poking against their momentum behind themselves at a fast-moving puck. Each of these factors are also tied to the player's attribute ratings. Now, I've heard some people complaining about the, quote, panic poke, which I agree with. You shouldn't have as much control when you're skating erratically and panicking. Now, I hope this doesn't overhaul, like, when you're skating fast and trying to poke. Like, I've made a lot of stellar plays in EASHL from behind, breaking up breakaways like that. Now, if that nerfs that because I'm skating fast, but in a controlled manner, then it says it doesn't, like, it says it won't affect a controlled manner, but then I gotta wonder, how do they determine what a controlled manner is? So again, I'll have to test that out, but it could be good for the realism aspect, although it also just could be to appease the people who just like to deke through the offensive zone and go on breakaways and stuff, so we'll have to see. There's improved hip check controls to prevent clashes. Now, I don't really use hip check, mostly because it never frickin' worked, and yeah, I don't even know the buttons these days for the hip check. It is just an inaccurate thing that I don't really do. But hey, for those of you who do it, maybe it's going to be a little better now, so you can maybe line them up a bit more. Now, the poke check animation assets are improved for increased poke checking accuracy before any error is added. That's big. That is big. I was playing some Be a Pro, and that poke check, man, sometimes it just went straight to their feet. Like, not considering where that player's body was. Now, you don't want to do that. If you're coming at him from an angle trying to poke at the puck, you want your guy naturally to poke around. Like, try to poke around him, not go straight through their feet, because it puts you in certain situations when you just can't poke at all. Now, that's not necessarily a horrible thing, but you do want to make an effort on the puck. You want to make as much effort as possible to break things up. This can't just be a purely offensive game, or no one's going to want to play defense. I enjoy playing defense even more than I have in the past. It's not just out of necessity now. I actually like it because I can make even more of an impact out there. Also added were reaction delays based on a player's awareness after a puck is deflected off a stick or body, as if players were reacting too quickly to defensive situations. Yeah, a little bit. Now, on the forecheck, I noticed this, not so much with my AI, but the offensive, or your opponent's AI, when you're forechecking on a man, you'd knock the puck loose, stick lift them, do everything in your power, and they'd always somehow be first to the puck, even though you should have the advantage, as you have made the turnover, the takeaway, hopefully, but you can't take it away because they just turn and get it really quickly. Now, that seems like it's worded kind of weird, but when you think about it, I've been bitching about this in being pro a bit, like when I do everything in my power to make a turnover on the forecheck, and they just keep getting the puck. This should tone that down so you can create more turnovers, especially if you make a good play. You should be rewarded. Thank you, EA. Another pretty big section here affects all you goalies out there. You get better precision when detecting puck position during saves. That's good, because sometimes you make a save, you're just out of the net, and it's not even your fault, and then everyone blames you. They think you're trolling. Thanks, Bacon Country. Also, responsiveness updates to user goalie butterfly motion. Now, that's good. Again, more control over playing goalie. More people are going to want to play goalie if it's better. This is good. The next part of this is to help user goalies challenging shots and tracking the puck. If a user is requesting to move towards the puck, allow the requested motion to transfer into the upcoming save. But if the shot is back against the grain, it will not add momentum to the save. Now, Again, that has to do with the positioning. Sometimes if you're sliding to make the save and it comes back the other way, you would just, even if you make the save, you'll keep sliding out of the net. Now this just, again, gives you more control. Huge. There's also upgraded save logic to reduce issues that were causing the user goalie to make a save attempt on pucks that were far from the net. Again, just gives you more control, makes you look more like a real goalie without having things happen that you don't intend to. Improved responsiveness for actions after quickly switching into control of the goalie. Now, I think that's more of a HUT thing. People switch to manual control on breakaways, etc. So you get a bit more responsiveness when you switch and it doesn't take too long to get into things. I don't know. I've never done that, but can't be bad. They've also added updates to prevent goalies from knocking their net off in EASHL as an exploit. I didn't even know that existed, but that's fucking hilarious. Oh my goodness. Added the ability for flinching saves to abort sooner when the puck is deflected away from the net. Now what that means is like when your goalie goes to make a save and the puck's deflected, if they are in a certain animation, they're just going to finish that animation. So it should make it a bit like easier to get out of so you can get back into the position. More control, more control. That's really, I think, what they're hammering down for goalies. You get more control. There's also improved responsiveness when blending in and out of saves for goalie. Again, more control, more fluidity helps you out. Added a new VH poke coverage. So basically when you're doing the hug post stuff and things like that. They've also added logic to read how much the goalie should lean based on the puck position as they slide into butterfly leans. This allows for better blends and ability to seal off more of the net on the side where the puck is. Again, the word blends, trying to make everything more fluid and more realistic to give you more control. Various animation improvements for saves where a goalie's limbs were clipping with each other. Yeah, you don't really want to see that. That's not looking pretty. And affects your ability to make some saves, I'm pretty sure. Also, updates to prevent an issue where a user goalie was unable to move post to post after a poke check. Yeah, that could be a little tricky. I mean, if you can't use your poke check, sometimes that's your greatest thing to keep people back and to keep them on their toes. Throw a poke check in there. Give them something to think about. Also, they've updated some saves that were causing the puck to deflect into a goalie's net. Thank God. That happened to me a couple times in NBA Pro in the short amount of time I've been playing it, so thank God. Now this goes back to the hockey training camp that I'm too pro to use, but they've got improved end-of-game flow to allow users to pick up next training item. I need to check this out. If you can get shit, do you get to, like, is there achievements? Added the option to select training item from pause, and added the ability to play videos from the training camp pause screen. Now, I'm pretty sure this isn't like practice mode or stuff for ESHL. This is like training camp to like make your guy better. So, all you noobs out there, celebrate. Now for my favorite game mode, Hockey Ultimate Team. Cool. Alright, so they've added an autofill option in edit lines. That's great, because I heard T. Banks complaining about when he was changing his lineups, he had to put every player in individually. Oh, the humanity. This option will allow users to automatically replace all the players in the lineup based on player overall and position. So it's kind of like a best lines feature for your Hockey Ultimate Team. The end of round competitive seasons reward screen will now show up in the HUT hub rather than the user needing to enter the season and claim their rewards. So that's good. Maybe it's like a notification type thing. It just pops up when you get it. And this is a big one that I know a lot of people have bitched about. The 1 minute grace period for offline and online games. So basically, if you got into a game and you got scored on within the first minute, you could just leave and there'd be no consequence. Yeah, it sucks. It was the only good thing about that is if you guys came across a guy who was playing in the trap and being a little bitch, and you could just leave. But hey, man, you got to give something up to get something. Now, another big section for online play stuff. They've improved the co-op matchup load screen to allow users to see more information about their teammates and opponents for team composition, and also latency for all online game modes, which means when you're in ESHL and you can see your connection bar up there, I'm pretty sure that's what that means. Oh, it says except for ESHL. So, rip. They're adding team overall into matchmaking rules for all online game modes, which means if you choose like an all-star team in like threes or something like that, you can't just go up against an AHL team. That's pretty good. Now this one's for you PS4 users. Your controller light will now match the game setup and gameplay player color indicator. Neat. I guess that's worth not having the early release. Whoop! They've also updated the game setup screen functionalities and online game types, so I guess I didn't really see any problems with that, but they did, so they fixed it. Now, the display offense, defense, and goalie ratings will be by default, so you'll always see those, which is good. They've remapped the ready button to the tile option, remapped the settings tile to a button, so a bunch of little cosmetic stuff that they've fixed, and they've resolved an issue where users would crash when performing goalie swaps in the intermission pause. Yeah, if you're fixing crashes, thank you. I found a few crashes in being pro. I had to scrap one of my save files and start it over because it kept crashing. So, yay, fix your crashes, EA. Thank you. Now, a couple changes to EASHL, but they are kind of big. They've added the ability to award a penalty shot in EASHL 3s rather than go to a 4-on-3 or 5-on-3 power play. Now, I'm pretty sure that was already in there because I got a penalty shot in overtime. I won the game. Post my hype. Remember that? Well, if you didn't, you got to tune in my streams, man, or at least watch them when I post them. Come on now. This one I'm not too sure how I feel about. Fighting turned off in EASHL 3s. I guess it's supposed to be a faster game mode and things like that, but fighting completely turned off in 3v3? I'm not too sure. But this is also good. 3-on-3 strategies have been added to EASHL. That's big, because if you have a smaller club and you just play 3s a lot, which I'm sure there's going to be a lot of, and that's a good thing. You don't have to find 6 people anymore. So you can now change your strategies, which is big. That's big. Alright, now here's some general game mode updates. They've added season modes for additional leagues, like some of the European ones, and the Champions Hockey League Tournament. Nice. Added division realignment into franchise mode. Man, that would have been amazing to have. But for my future 32-team expansions, oh, that's amazing. I could switch back, Detroit or Columbus to the Western Conference and create a nice team in Quebec and still have divisions that make sense. That's awesome. They've added the ability to allow the user to edit their custom or relocated team's jersey and mascot during the off-season in franchise. Now, that's pretty good. I know I messed up with my abbreviation, so maybe you could change that as well, because mine's not in all caps. Not that it's a big deal, but it'd be nice to change things like that. So that's pretty cool. You can change jerseys and stuff throughout the year. They've added the ability to see all the computer lines and view lines. That's a feature I've been missing since NHL 14 or NHL 15, old gen. They've added the ability to allow a user to change strategies in 3-on-3 overtime. Again, pretty big, although I am still wishing that it was 2 forwards and a defenseman instead of a forward and 2 defensemen. They've added the ability to view all of the pending free agents in the upcoming class, as well as 2 and 3 years out. So that's pretty good. You could see, you could kind of get the same result by looking at everyone's contracts, but you can basically do it quicker and all in one place. So it makes things easier. Now, they've added a sim to regular season option in quick links during the preseason. That's pretty good. If you wanted to make changes, before the regular season, and it's just, again, another stop area. They've added the option to view player information in the offer sheet pop-up. So that's pretty good. That you can't, you have to take a person out of the trade screen and then go to them on the roster sheet from where you choose the players and then look at their player information. You can't look at it when they're on the trade themselves, which I'm hoping I made enough sense right there. They've added the option to decline a trade and change your trade block in a computer trade offer. So less places to go, less menu swapping and things like that, just making things easier. They've added the option to switch teams while in the trade screen in the player select pop-up. I think you could do that already. Oh, but I think maybe it would switch. I don't know. I'm not too sure. Maybe that wasn't a thing, but I thought it was. Improved free agency logic where team chemistry is still taken into consideration deep into free agency when they should be willing to lessen demands. Making things more realistic, more true to life for franchise mode. This is a big franchise overhaul. I'm happy about this. Improvements have been added to correctly apply statistic growth to a player who received stat growth the previous year. So I take it there's been some problems with some people not getting the stats in there from the year. Okay. I guess there's some, I don't know. I didn't really notice it, but again, I haven't played too much franchise mode on my own. They've added updates to help resolve an issue with scouting showing semi-accurate potentials of players that should be unknown potentials. Okay, interesting. So scouting maybe harder, or maybe that just improved it, so that you at least know that you don't know anything about this player, instead of getting fooled and being like, hey, he could be this, and it's like, no, he sucks. All right, and also improvements added to prevent the morale of a player set to angry immediately after signing the free agency. Yeah, I noticed that in NHL 17 as well. It wasn't really free agent. Well, it was free agency, but it was usually your prospects who were set to angry, but they weren't really angry. It's just like the face was like that. So again, more improvements, a big franchise mode overhaul, which is great news for all of us. Now, these are just some minor audio adjustments, but they added in birthday goal calls in EASHL. So I guess if you score a goal on your birthday, then they shout you out special. That's kind of neat. They've also added in various speech improvements. So again, just little things that should make the immersion into the game a bit more fluid. All right, now a few changes to the overall presentation. They added in the EASHL Championship sequence with the trophy. They've added the Champions Hockey League Championship sequence with the trophy. They've also added a Champions Hockey League mode unique wipe, so that's like a camera effect, and various camera improvements for environment, geometry, blocking, play. Now I think that what it sounds like that has more to do with the replays. You get better replay angles, or maybe it's just your camera itself when you're on a dynamic camera. Now, still on the presentation side of things is some of the art. They added the away uniforms for the Ottawa Senators, the away uniforms for the Maple Leafs, I guess some of those were missing, and the away uniforms for the Nashville Predators. They added the CCM Premier 2 goalie pad set, and they improved the Portland Winterhawks uniform. Good stuff. Last but not least, again for all you noobs, although I might check this out because they added 4 new button deke videos. I might want to learn some of those dekes, so I might actually check out these training camp videos. Added better shot quality changes, better shots, and sizzles for 8 hybrid and 94 controls. With the 8 hybrid, I don't think they mean to put that 8 in there. Or, oh yeah, 8 of them. 8 different controls. I get it. They've updated the audio from Ray Ferraro, oh god, in 3 skill stick videos. Shot aim, face off, and face off tie-ups, okay. Alright, and they've added improved 8 of the videos: the offside and the shot improvement, the icing, the high sticking, delay of game, tripping, interference, penalty shot, goalie delay of game. So great news for all the noobs out there. They added 5 goalie videos: T-push versus straight, angles versus position, butterfly slides, and hugging the post. Now, if I ever do want to try to risk playing goalie, maybe I'll check those out too. Maybe you guys just want to check out these videos to see what EA thinks about basic hockey rules. Well, we all know how they feel about boarding, elbowing, and cross-checking. Whatever the hell they feel like. Alright guys, so that concludes all the patch notes for this first update, and that concludes my Cynalysis of it. Pretty good stuff in here, man. I'm kind of excited to test all this stuff out. So let me know what you guys think about all these changes. If you had some different opinions or just some things that I may have missed on, please go crazy in that comment section. Let's get a nice discussion going. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Remember to leave that like, and I'll see you in the next one.